Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The whole world is watching. Spoiler discussion. I am your host, Dana Abercrombie, the entertainment editor over at the Koalition.com, and I am joined by Mr. Tony Polanco.
What is going on, people? I'm ready for this episode. This episode was so good. Oh. Remember, oh my God, I'm forgetting the movie. It's like Frank the Tank. Oh, when it hits the lips, it's so good. It's fantastic. Let's do this.
He loved them lips. And we are also joined by Mr. Chris Seeley. How are you doing, Mr. White Dot?
Oh, very nice to be here. I appreciate being on the show. Thank you. Doing well.
No problem at all. And we will be joined later, hopefully, by Mr. Richard Bailey Jr.
Yes.
Oh, yes. He loved it. So
I agree with everything that was said on this episode. It's a great series. We love you, Rich.
We love you, Rich. We mean that in humor of jokingness.
Yes.
But let's dive in. There was a lot of themes in here. There were a lot of different characters and a lot of different elements added to the story that was already kind of the foundation that we've seen from last season. And also, we got a really weird
last episode. This is the first season.
Episode. So I was looking in advance. I had some Doctor Strangeness going on.
Yes.
So, yes, in this episode. And we also had a really cute Chronicles of Narnia plot twist nobody saw. It was a crossover with Turkish Delights.
Yes. Now I know what Turkish Delight is because I read the books, right? I didn't know I thought Turkish Delight was like a muffin or something. I had no idea.
Coffee.
Yeah. And then it comes out, it's fucking candy. It's hard candy.
It's a dessert. It's a hard candy.
Yeah.
It comes in multiple flavors. There's a recipe online.
Yeah.
If you want to Google it, it sounds delicious. And the children love it, which is the reason why he gave it to the kids, which is the reason for the Turkish Delights.
All right, now we're not going to talk about that show anymore. We're going to talk about Turkish Delight for about an hour now.
I'm sorry. Welcome to the Food Network.
Yes.
So this had a lot of different things going, and right from the beginning, it started off with AO. I think that's how it's called, IO. And, she's meeting Bucky Barnes. Already she set this whole goal. She said, look, at this time, we're going to get Zemo, whether or not you're done with him. He killed King
T'Chaka, I believe, right?
T'Chaka.
Yeah.
And, we're here to make sure he pays for what he did. He killed our leader. And, Bucky is like, give us a moment. But right before that, I almost skipped the most important part. We learned in 7 minutes, there's a lot of things that just happened. We learned the relationship between Bucky and AO. And we learned that it was AO who kind of was able to free Bucky of his brainwashedness of from back in Winter Soldier, when he came from Wakanda back and previously during Endgame. So right then and there, we established their relationship. And we know the importance that Bucky has to Wakanda, but also to the mission of, like, Zemo. I mean, he is a soldier, and he's there to see his mission through. What was your initial thoughts just from the very beginning about this episode? Mr. Seeley, if you want to talk.
Sure. Well, a lot of things were building up. You have kind of 3 paths going on. So you have the John Walker path. So you have Captain America and BattleStar trying to figure out things and falling behind, and the slow degradation of John Walker mentally. You could see him breaking down over the episodes as a strain of assuming the mantle of Captain America and having to live up to the shield. And he obviously can't handle it. And this episode, that all breaks down. And then you have the Flag Smasher storyline and the motivations of Karli Morgenthau and her gang, and then their plan to actually increase their numbers of super soldiers working under them. So there's that going on. And then also the death of this woman, I guess, who took care of them. And then you kind of get a somewhat human side of them, but it doesn't forgive what she's done, where they keep bringing up this terrorist attack that took place in the last episode. She blew up a building, apparently killed a bunch of people. And there was the scene in the car in the last episode where she's like, fuck them, that's the language these people understand, which is like, even her boys weren't okay with that, but they went along with it.
Right.
And then, of course, the main thing with Bucky and Falcon working with Zemo, trying to track down the Flag Smashers. So there's those three stories going on. Zemo's motivations, obviously, he just cares about destroying super soldiers, and that's why he's along for the ride. But it seems like maybe he has some alternate stuff going on. But it's funny enough, he's presented more more of an aid and an ally to them than Walker is. Obviously, like Walker just seems to be getting in their way, and things come to a head in this episode, which I'm sure we'll get to later. Also, very interesting, the introduction of the Wakandan Royal Guard. I forgot their name. They have a name. Yes, thank you. And how they play out, and then how they not only play into Bucky's story. I don't recall the events in Black Panther 2 where they showed him in there, but they showed that flashback of his therapy there in Wakanda, and then her reciting his trigger words to become the Winter Soldier, and him not, him not getting triggered by it, but him instead flashing to all the things he's done as the Winter Soldier and him breaking down, which was obviously more effective therapy than his government-appointed therapist. I find that funny. I was pointing that out to my wife. I'm like, hey, they got better therapy in Wakanda than he's getting from his veteran benefits, But yeah, I thought overall the episode was very good. There was a lot of action in it, and I appreciate that. I hold to my thing that Disney should have aired this first before WandaVision. But obviously for reasons,
they were shut down not only just because of COVID, but remember there were the earthquakes in Puerto Rico.
Yes, I know, but see, they didn't plan for this to air second, and I could see why. Because you had the mystery box stuff, and you're supposed to build things up towards the next Marvel movie, which wasn't supposed to be Black Widow, it was supposed to be Doctor Strange 2. But now with everything out of whack because of COVID and like you mentioned, earthquakes and stuff, Black Widow is the next movie, but that was supposed to start everything.
I see what you're saying,
be after everything, right? Loki's going to air before Black Widow. Then that wasn't supposed to be the case.
Right.
Also, I have a couple of theories that I'll put out later as we discuss the episode further.
Cool. Mr. Polanco?
I agree with everything that's been said so far. Yeah, the episode was really good. By the way, because I didn't get to see last a week's episode until today, so I'm back to back. So I like how this episode built off of that one. Especially how they're bringing homegirl. I don't know, fucking the one with the red hair. I call her Karli. Yeah, little orphan Annie is what I call her. She has the orphan Annie kind of hair.
Yeah, an orphan. Yeah.
So it was cool learning more about her. Even though I'm like, take this bitch out, man. Let's go. Yeah, I said it. I liked all the action. I liked the emphasis on John Walker. He is my favorite character of this series. I don't care what anybody says. I like that. He's a raw Captain America.
Traitor.
That's my boy Chris. U.S. agent. Gotta give him props. So yeah, I like that. But I also liked how, because I had been wondering like, how are they going to tie Sam's story with his sister into the main narrative? I'm like, is it just going to be some like random offshoot type of thing? But no, now they're tying it together. I like that, and it's showing Karli. He's like, yo, she's fucking crazy. Like I understand where she's coming from, but like, yo, she'll fucking kill kids if she has to. Like she's going there. So that was cool. And then you saw it coming a mile away, right? With John Walker, like they telegraphed that shit so much, like, oh, he wants that soldier serum. They want that soldier serum. And I also like the contrast, right? Between them, Bucky and Falcon, and then John Walker and his boy, because John Walker and his boy, like, yo, we'll take that fucking shit day one, because like, you imagine how many lives we would have saved. And Falcon and Bucky, even Bucky, he has the soldier serum. He's like, fuck this shit, so it was kind of cool showing the two dynamics there. And then of course the end, we'll get to the end. Ooh, yo, bruh. But yeah, that's my take on it. Episode was fantastic.
Right. Well, kind of we can dive into the whole BattleStar and fake Captain America.
Yeah.
And how I know you love him, but I'm still not used to him. But I appreciate what this series is doing to show him from the outside. He's the kind of guy who worked really hard. He's not lazy. in any way. He worked hard. They showed about the test, the intelligence test, the strength, and he still is being outsmarted. And remember, there was the scene with Ao and the rest of the soldiers, beautiful scene where they were getting their behind beat.
Yeah.
And he later on, he was like, and they didn't even have super strength. And you kind of see like he's struggling, was trying to accomplish just even the basics.
Yeah.
And he's failing. And, looking from the outside in, you see like, oh, we admire these superheroes, these people like Captain America and Iron Man and whomever. And we, look at all these powers and things that they wield. But then when you're finally in there, you realize that I'm not them. And it's much harder for me to accomplish what they're able to accomplish. And meanwhile, you have Bucky who's like, yeah, I took the serum, and this is the downside of everything. This is the dark side of being a savior, because he was programmed to do something what their team viewed as being right.
Yeah.
So we could talk a little bit about that dynamic and just how they work together as a team.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. I actually wasn't happy with that fight scene with the Dora Milaje, because John Walker got open against those super soldiers in episode 2, right? He went in. And then here's the thing. I don't mind that he lost. That's fine. I just think he could have put up more or the show could have had to put up more resistance before getting fucked up. He got destroyed from the beginning. He had no chance to get these women. I'm like, can you at least give him some shine? Like, he was fucking up actual super soldiers in episode 2, but now suddenly these women just show up and he's like getting fucked up by them. Again, I think it was important for him to get destroyed in the end, but he should have put up more work. Like, both of them should have been fucked up.
Well,
so I was like, I don't know. So I just didn't like the way it was played out. Like, I don't mind the ending. I just thought it could have been better handled. Because again, you saw he was fucking up super soldiers. Why are these women doing, fucking him up that badly? Go ahead, Chris. What are you saying?
Well, I thought it was only appropriate because even though the Flag Smashers are super soldiers, they're not trained, right? He's a soldier, right? He has. Yeah. They mention in the scene in the coffee shop where him and BattleStar are talking that he had 3 medals of freedom or Medal of Honors or whatever. Yeah. So he's a trained soldier. He's a Marine or whatever. And the Flag Smashers are just super soldiers, but they have no training. They don't know how to fight. Like, they just fight raw, like you would in the street. Just throw up your fist or whatever. But the Royal Guard, the Wakandan Royal Guard, are trained warriors from birth, right? So they know how to fight. So that's what I took it as. They know how to fight. And they're trained to fight anything. So that's why he got his ass handed to him. Also, they're proficient with their weapons. Like, they brought their spears in. The one threw the spear through the grips on the shield and locked him to the table, which I thought was a well choreographed scene. And so I took it that he has an edge on the Flag Smashers because he knows how to fight and they don't. Well, they'll fight raw. He's a thinker. He can think on his feet. But he was outclassed by superior fighting skills of the what is it? Dora
Milaje. No, I didn't. You know what? I didn't think about it. You're right. It's like he's fighting actual trained people. They may not be super strong, but they're trained. Like, they're highly more trained than him. It's the classic Superman Batman scenario, right? Yeah. If Batman is as powerful as Superman, Batman's winning because he actually knows how to fight. Superman just throws punches. He doesn't really know how to fight. Let's just be honest. Batman knows how to fight. So, on equal ground, yeah. Thank you for that. Now I actually like that scene. I'm like, yeah, it's like 3 highly trained bitches. Like, they're fucking them up. But anyway, I got to give a shout out, man, or welcome to Mr. Richard Bailey Jr.
Yes, thank you very much for the welcome. I apologize for the delay. Some work stuff had to be taken care of. I just want to make a comment. And then we will continue because I don't want to cut off Chris or Dana or you. I just have to say this, and I want to be political, but I want to say this. Not my Captain America. So continue.
There you go. Yo, Rich, that's funny because I was like, I like this dude, man. That's my boy right now, John Walker. That's my dude right there, man. He has issues, man. I sympathize.
well, I would say, yeah, it totally makes sense. You understand in this episode why he did what he did.
Yeah.
So that's justified. But I do have a question. I don't know if y'all have already addressed. Did he or did he not take the serum? Because I was under the impression he took it.
Okay. He took that shit. Yo, when he kicked out one dude through the doors, like,
though.
They made it mad fucking obvious.
He did the superhero landing on the van and blew out the windows. He bent the steel pipe around the other Flag Smasher and threw him through a wall.
And that's when Falcon was like, "Oh shit!"
Like there was when he kicked that dude through the door, I was just like, he's not supposed to be able to do that shit. But I was a question. I was like, maybe, I don't know. Maybe he got lucky. But then when he bent the I'm like, no, he took that shit. He took that shit. So yeah, Rich, he took that shit. And then later on, he's doing all the superhero shit. He did the Captain America bust through the window, land like from 3 stories and shit. I'm like, yeah, he took that shit. Oh man.
Oh,
so yeah, Rich. Since we're talking about that, what did you think of that scene where John Walker was bested by the Dora Milaje?
Oh, I thought that was absolutely fantastic. I know we had to see, this guy is someone who, like I said, I understand, some of us like the Walker character. The guy is a bit of an asshole, and he thinks that he is above other people. So he has to get put in his place. So I thought it was great for them to be the ones to put him in his place. Of course, unfortunately, they let your boys escape, so that was not a good thing. But yeah, the action sequence in that whole thing was fantastic, and it needed to happen.
But for me, also, he kind of has that attitude of "I come from privilege," and even when he was speaking to Ayo and the other women, who I can't remember the name of their tribe of everything, but he was like, "Oh, look at them and their spears." And then they beat him with the spears.
Yeah, they beat his ass, But you know what's funny? You mentioned that because that's also what I kind of like about him. Like that he's a fucking asshole. Like regular America would not say shit like that. He'd be very respectful, But at the same time, he has this moments where I'm like, John, bro, come on, chill. Like when we'll talk about this later, obviously, but like, when he goes to Falcon goes to talk to Homegirl, right? I was like, yo, can you just chill? Let him talk, bro.
Yeah.
And he was gonna fuck shit up though. Anyway, go on. I like John, man. Like I want him to do better, but he disappoints me sometimes.
Well, yeah, what you said is 100% right. Where you said Steve Rogers will never have that type of attitude. Nope. So that's and I think that's a good to differentiate that character from what Steve Rogers would do. So I understand and I appreciate the complexity of the character for sure. I am curious to see where this goes, though, now that we have all confirmed that, yes, he did take the serum.
Yes.
Yes. I think, is he? We'll get to that later, but what how gone is gone. But, yes, moving on, we kind of have Zemo here. He seems to be the man who is like, he's secretly in charge. He knows what's going on, and he also seems to have another motive that I just don't seem to fully trust him. I believe he is committed to the mission of getting rid of any of the super soldiers and the serum. And now that is over with, we're going to finally find out what his actual mission is. Because to me, it seemed like he can easily just get out of jail anytime he wants to. And he was just waiting for that opportune time. So I know for this one, it started out with him explaining what the country meant to him and the joys of the country and, that innocence of the childhood. And it was played a lot of importance to the Turkish delight. And for those who don't know, the crossover, what I was talking about, Chronicles of Narnia, Turkish delight is basically, it's famously known as a treat that villains use to bribe children. Before they, if you watch, for example, Chronicles of Narnia, it was very important that, what was his name? Edmund was one of the characters. Turkish delight was used as a bribe to, for him to betray his family and to basically turn to that dark side. And it's used in kind of fiction and in fables as well. It's a symbolic, we're not going to get to the religious stuff, but it's symbolic in that as well.
Yeah.
So by bribing the children, the apple essentially, it's the apple of the story. And by using that, and we see it literally being used on children to betray your family and just let me in and know this information. Where is the funeral at? So we get that usage there. And then, why I think that there is something that's way more important that's going on. And we also learned that Zemo had a son which was like, what? So how do you feel about the progression of Zemo and this storyline in general? Richard, since you popped in here.
Uh-oh. On the spot.
On that spot.
So I actually like how they're handling the Zemo character, because they're having you think that he has another motive in all of this. I saw today they released the hour-long dance video of Zemo.
We didn't have to wait 3 years for it.
Hey. So clearly Marvel's having fun with the characters. The people want stuff, they give it to them. Even though I'm still waiting for some of those questions answered in WandaVision, but that's another show. No, I like how they handle the character now, because it is keeping you guessing. And then the other thing is, my assumption is that they have to know that he has an ulterior motive in this. I can't believe that they would be completely oblivious to think that he's just going to cooperate and he doesn't have any other things that he would try and do outside of that. At least Bucky, because Bucky should know him better than anybody else.
Well, yeah, especially.
Yeah, so I would hope that eventually that does come to light. I mean, we only got 2 episodes left, so I feel like a lot of stuff is about to happen in the next 2 episodes. But yeah, I like Zemo. I don't know where he's at right now, but clearly he's taking his own approach to trying to figure out this situation, but obviously use it to his advantage. We just have to figure out what it is that he's trying to do.
And what about you?
Yeah, my man's up to something. He's up to something. And it's not like a mission. Like, he is working for his own ends, right? Like, obviously he has his own like overarching goal of like destroying the super soldiers, but he is working, his own angle. And I love the fact that when you're watching it, you're like, he's gonna do something, bro. He's gonna betray him somehow. You're just waiting for it, And you even saw a hint of that, right? He was telling like the kids, like, yo, those motherfuckers are bad. Like he's already, like plotting behind them and stuff. So I think it's cool because Age of Ultron, right? Is that where he showed up? Like he was, I believe it was, right? Or was it Civil War? Civil War. I felt they didn't bring him up enough, so it's cool to just see, his character just come to life, Although I will say this though, Disney, really an hour-long dance sequence? That's fucking stupid. Like there are some things. Don't listen to the fans. The fans are stupid sometimes. It's like we need a 4-hour Justice League movie. I don't want that to be a trend. Like, hey, you got all this footage, release it. Release the dance cut or whatever. It's like stop listening to these idiots, man.
It didn't hurt anybody. It's just
it hurt me. Okay. Anyway, Zemo's cool. Chris.
Really?
Oh yes, I think Baron Zemo's overarching thing, the psychology of his. At least his cinematic character, is that he doesn't believe in superheroes and he thinks they're inherently evil. That's why he considers the only exception to his rule of super soldiers to be Steve Rogers. The conversation he has later in the safe house with Falcon, when he asked him, if you were presented with the serum, would you take it? And Falcon says no. Right away, he doesn't hesitate. He's like, no. And he's like, well, I'm surprised. So he earned a little bit of respect from Zemo. Zemo thinks all superpowered people, probably not even just super soldiers, but superpowers in general are bad, right? Yeah. So he lost his country because of superheroes. He thinks they're all evil. And I think his overarching goal is like every metahuman, mutant, whatever you want to call them, is probably bad for humanity. So maybe his scope will escalate once he's done with super soldiers. He'll move on to, well, Asgardians got to go. We don't want them here. I don't want anybody with powers, on the earth anymore, because they pose a threat. So I think that's where his scope is and his life is going to take him. They did mention that he had children though in Civil War. He constantly listens to that phone message from his wife over and over again. Yeah.
But you can also see the parallels between his character and also WandaVision. With that whole these superpowers, and remember how Wanda, her land and her home was destroyed. Her parents were killed dead basically by the Avengers. Right. And she had that whole resentment towards them. And we showed that when she was a kid, she worshipped them just like Zemo stated that he did. He thought
Right.
they
Well,
were cool.
By the way, her
paths.
parents weren't killed by the Avengers. They were killed by Stark's technology.
Well, yeah, Stark technology. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. The thing is, they took opposite approaches. Wanda and Pietro went to Hydra and volunteered to be part of the program, whereas Zemo sought to destroy Hydra. It's funny how they took different paths, but originating from the same thing. The destruction of Sokovia, which was both their countries, led them in divergent paths to kind of the same goal.
Right. So I like how they're going back and connecting different characters and everything. Richard, did you have a chance to speak? You spoke, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm old.
I'll just add, why is nobody mad at AI? Didn't Ultron destroy Sokovia? Nobody's yelling about AI.
He brought up Ultron. He also talked about it. He couldn't stand Ultron.
But he's not like on a quest to destroy all AI. Why does he go burn down Microsoft while he's at it?
I'm pretty sure some Sony fanboys will love that.
Oh, and just really quick, I love kind of the relationship that they have with each other, because if you notice in the episode, he upgraded his phone from, remember he had the flip phone, and he
That's right.
He gave him one of them iPhones. So
look at that.
There's a little sugar daddy in there.
European sugar daddy.
So yes, moving on, talk about Karli. Now this was, I thought, a really great scene that also, John Walker, before he destroyed it, where we see Karli having a one-on-one talk, kind of similar to Rogers and Wanda, about what is really going on with her, the Flag Smashers, why she joined the Flag Smashers. I remember I was speaking to the writer of the series, Malcolm Spellman, and he said that he really modeled the Flag Smashers and Karli's journey about supremacy after the Proud Boys. And it was to say that, the Proud Boys, yes, we get into the whole racism part, but essentially it's how people from all different races come together for a focused message. And it's also to show that in our moment of desperation, when we don't have anything, we turn to the extreme. And, that's what we're being seen now today and what's going on politically. So how did you guys feel about this? Because in this scene, we kind of see Karli not as the terrorist, but more as a girl. And basically that was what was being said. She's just a girl who lost everything. Remember, she lost Danya. I think it was Danya. Yeah, Danya. And she's just out there trying to fight for what she thinks is more resources and being treated equally. After the whole GRC, the Global Reparations Council, they stated there will be more teachers and more supplies, and, don't worry about you, we got you. But then they essentially left them. You can kind of say comparison to FEMA during Hurricane Katrina. So how did you guys feel? Because she was able to gravitate and really to understand Bucky, Sam on that level. And also she was able to show, to me, it kind of represented why we needed superheroes of color, because while there was a Steve Rogers and Iron Man, they were white men who were already of privilege. By looking at people, say, like Sam, they see themselves in being in the superhero, the image of one. So not sure how you guys felt about that whole part. Chris, if you want to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the conversation with her and Sam was well done, where he goes in to negotiate with her, and he goes and pays his respects, and they start talking about supremacy. But what was important is that he's seeing what she's done, and he's like, how are you any different? You're fighting supremacy, and yet you're murdering people. And then he tells her what Zemo told him. He's like, how are you not looked at as a supremacist? You are taking an extreme, and you are claiming to fight against extremes. But then, how are you any different? How are you less evil than what you're trying to fight? And she's like, well, I'm not the corporations or whatever. Well, you're murdering people. So to him, he's like, look, I understand your fight, but how you're approaching it is completely wrong, and you're going to get killed in trying to do this. So I thought that conversation was well done. It balanced it really well, because in it, if you took that out, she just looks like the bad guy, right? She's just like, well, there's a terrorist, and here comes Captain America and Falcon and Bucky to stop it, right? But no, it has layers, right? Why is she doing what she's doing? You understand that, and he understands that, and I think they brought in very nicely his experience with helping veterans with PTSD, and how he can work through those issues and stuff, which is funny because they bring that up, and he's obviously using it in this story, but yet he didn't help Bucky. He's trying to recover. Like, he's not talking to Sam, he's talking to some rando old psychiatrist bitch that he has to meet once a month or something. So I thought that was interesting, but that scene was well done. And then of course John Walker ruins everything, and busts in because he's losing his mind. He obviously, you could see when he was waiting, when he couldn't even give him 10 minutes, that he was like twitchy, and like he's like looking at the clock, and it's like, fuck this, and he just busts in there. So that I think that scene was well done.
Tony?
Yeah, I liked it. Even though the whole time you're like, man, when is John Walker going to come in and fuck this up? When you knew, like, he's already itching. It's like he needs to fix, like he needs to fuck something up, So the whole time you're like, this is cool. But yeah, I like the talk, because again, it was funny. I was like, she's talking all this shit about like, supremacists, this supremacist. Like, bitch, you're a fucking supremacist. Killing people. So I was like, yeah, all right, keep yapping. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit, So I wasn't buying her, her whole side at all, But my man Sam, though, I was like, yo, see, this dude's a smooth motherfucker, And I love the part where he turned that shit around on her, made her say, y'all kill those guys. And he was like, I got you, bitch.
Oh yeah, she did say that.
Yeah, he turned that around her real quick. So he was a smooth operator, he's as proficient with his words as he is in combat. And I gotta say this about Anthony Mackie. That is a great fucking actor. Like, that dude, like, you see him walk into a scene, you're like, this guy got it, man. Like, you could tell he's either gonna smooth talk you and fuck you up, one of them. And I like that. Like, he has a very commanding presence, And I've liked the guy ever since we met him in the Winter Soldier. I was like, this dude's dope. So I love the fact. I know I'm getting off tangent here, but basically this scene encapsulates why I like him as an actor. Like, he captures so much of it. It's like he's good doing the action shit. He's doing the emotional stuff, and then right here he's being like intellectual. It's like, all right, bitch, you talking all that stuff. I'm gonna flip it around right now, But of course, we had John Walker, and he's like, bro. And again, Rich, I just told before you got here, John Walker is my favorite character in the show, but he disappoints me sometimes, man, because I want him to do better, but he's gonna fuck up. Just like, listen, like he's gonna come in here and ruin it, and of course he did, and then turned it around, and then all went to shit. But great scene. I liked it. It could have gone on like maybe one more minute. Because I wanted to see Sam really twist the screws into her, but it was good,
Yes.
Mr. Bailey.
Mr. Bailey.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of the points that have been made. I enjoyed the scene as well. The only thing that I would have to say about this character, I know they wanted to make her three-dimensional as well, to make you care and sympathize with her actions. So I totally get that. But this is one thing that I will say. What happens in the next conversation when she is threatening Sam's family and getting to that hits home the desperation thing, and I did not like that. So that's why I could say I sympathize with your actions, but for you to now threaten family, that's a step too far, and I can't really forgive you for that.
Really? Because I don't think she meant the family any harm. I honestly thought
I'm with Rich. I think she means it. She's already killed people and shit. It's like, no. She's like,
yeah. But like, I don't know. I think it was just a means to an end with the whole family thing, was to get his attention.
And I will say this. We will see if your point is correct, Dana, because of what happens at the end of this episode. I want to see how that character will react next week, because they saw what Captain America did at the end of this episode, and I would imagine that's not going to be a positive reaction to that.
John Walker, I tell you, he disappoints me, bro. I want to cheer for this man, but he fucks up.
He goes full, what was it, Homelander?
Oh, man. Yeah. Homelander. Yes, there you go.
Homelander. Yes. So moving on, we talked about Karli and that scene and the whole motives. I still think that the sister situation was, you know, it was just an act of desperation. You know, like when you need attention for something, and that was the only way that she knew he would take her seriously and meet. So that's why. Did Chris get to speak? It was like 3 of him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, he said, yeah.
Okay.
Did you speak, Dana, though?
Did I speak?
I think you did.
I think I spoke. But moving on, we're moving ever so closely to that scene, y'all. So during that entire time, where we kind of get John Walker ruining everything and his insecurities, we finally get, you know, Karli, she goes out on the run. And she's running away from everything that's happening. And during that, we see Zemo just out of nowhere pulls out a gun and starts shooting at her. And I think he hits her at one point. She's hiding, but because of the whole action and the, you know, movements around, she ends up dropping the 20 vials. And that's when Zemo has like there's that moment where the camera's like, will he do it? Will he take it? But he's like, nah, and he just starts smashing everything. I think I'm slightly getting ahead because there's one point that's really important. Nope, I'm not. So he's smashing everything onto the ground, and you know it goes everywhere. And we see Karli. She has to just run for her life at this point here, and we think everything is completely destroyed, but there's that one vial. Now, in the midst of all of this, the other team of of Karli's team, the Flag Smashers, they are able to grab up BattleStar. You know, BattleStar was just a man who was the voice of reason. He was the good friend. We didn't get much time to spend with BattleStar. And they tie him up and they kind of leave him. They beat him up a little bit and they leave him on the ground. And he's basically there. He has to rescue his own self. You know, you have John Walker, he's busy trying to fight off the Flag Smashers, and he runs up on the scene of what happens and with the vials and everything, and Karli's gone at this point, and he sees the serum. There's one vial that didn't get smashed by Zemo because it was kind of hiding in the corner. It rolled around in the corner, and he's like, dun, dun, dun. And then we're like, oh my gosh, we knew what was going to happen at this point, but for him to actually take it, you know, there's a lot of insecurities that's going around with him. So as we know, he takes the vial. And this is when we kind of go back to Lamar Hopkins, BattleStar. He's freeing himself. But this is the scene that no one seemed to got that bothered me because it'll play in later. As he is freeing himself, this lovely man here, all of a sudden, look at him.
Yo, by the way, I gotta say this real quick. That dude, he's fucking so cool. Like, I like that dude. Cool. You know, like the actor and stuff. Like, this dude's cool. I like him. You know,
he means nobody any harm. You know, he sees all kinds of things. Like I said, the voice of reason. He's just trying to free himself. His friend is out there trying to save the day, battling his insecurities. When he goes and frees himself, all of a sudden, we see there's droplets that comes from the ceiling. You would think like, oh, it's just, you know, random water. They're in this building that doesn't have great upkeep. And all of a sudden, it drops in his eye, and we see him kind of rub his eye when he wakes up. And I noticed this. His eye turns red. There's a spot. Now, normally when you go and wipe your eyes, that's not what you're going to see. So it leads me to believe that during the whole smashing of the serum, you know, we saw the leakage come through the wooden floors, that it landed into BattleStar's eye. Sorry. So we see that it lands in BattleStar's eye. And then that's when he goes out and he's out there fighting the day and everything else. And this leads to a very huge scene where we go to, what was it? Not Winter. So I keep calling him fucking hell. Sorry. Sam
or
and Nope. The other one, John Walker, he's fighting the other Flag Smashers. And this is when we see John Walker bust through the window and he's attacking the guys. And we're like, oh, he took the serum. And then we see him grab that metal pipe that he's fighting the guys and he just bends it like it's just wind in the air. He's Earthbender, Windbender, whatever you want to call it. Terrible Avatar reference I botched. And then we see that's when we know he took the serum. And we see that Falcon, he's in battle and he's not doing good. He's losing. And one of the soldiers is a super soldier and just flails him about and kind of hits him up against the staircase area. And that's when we see he's gone. He's dead. He's dead. And that it comes to the most important scene of not just the series, but of John Walker's life, when he just goes completely ape poop and starts attacking one of the soldiers, the Flag Smashers. And anyone wants to take it from here. How did that make you feel? And in that moment of shockness?
All right, we got to go back. I'm going to go back a little bit because there's a lot. There's a lot that we covered. Because first of all, yes, when BattleStar. Is that his official name, by the way? Like, oh my God,
BattleStar is his real name.
Oh shit!
Well, Hopkins is his birth name.
Because I'm thinking like, BattleStar this is a TV show. Anyway, because I was a little weird. I'm like, why are they focusing so much on this fucking water? That's what I thought. I thought it was just water leaking, right? So I was like, that's kind of, because it was two shots, right? You had the one shot, from the same angle, water was leaking, right? Water, quote unquote, was leaking. And then they did it again, but it was more intense, right? I was like, that's kind of a weird shot. He gets up, whatever. I didn't think anything of it. And then I was talking to you before the show, and you told me, I'm like, oh shit. Then it all came together. So basically what I think is that happened is because, that scene, like, because he, you think he's just a regular human. He gets kick through that fucking pillar, you're like, this motherfucker's dead. It's over. But it's gonna have more like emotional impact because John Walker kills that motherfucker, Karli's boy, but then he's gonna find out later, BattleStar's still alive, because the soldier serum got in his eye, like woo. So it's gonna be very cool. So I think that's what's going on. Because the thing is, like, having like a red dot or whatever in your white eye, it's not really a weird thing. I have it, like, if you look hard enough.
No, but when you start rubbing.
Yeah, not like that though. Yeah, not like that. But you're right. No, but I'm really glad you brought that up because I think that's what they're gonna do. And again, it's like, this actor is too good. You can't just write him off. Mm-hmm. You got to bring him back. And yeah, you saw John Walker getting open. He is now like Steve Rogers level Captain America. And he has the training for it too. But obviously, you saw his boy getting killed. He sees this dude running, and he's like, "That's it. I'm taking him out." It was brutal. They didn't go through. I thought he was decapitated with that shield.
I was waiting for like a head.
He may have. They won't show it, but he may have cut that guy's head off.
Yeah. So
no, he did, because if you look at the shield itself,
it's covered with blood on the bottom.
Yeah. So, but I love that. I don't know if you have it. Yeah, I don't know if you have
that's on TikTok now.
It's on TikTok.
Captain America decapitates some dude.
There it is. That's the shot. That shot right there says a lot. It's like you could take it into levels, right? Like you could be like, America has blood on its hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that shield represents America, and that blood is the blood of America, or the blood that we've taken from others. You could see it that way. Obviously in this scene, it's just like, John Walker just killed this motherfucker. But obviously everybody had their phones. They're all taking TikTok videos.
They
were
streaming that shit.
Yep. They're like, oh shit. So that's definitely gonna have ramifications because remember, this dude is supposed to be out there representing America, right? America's looking bad right now, But that whole sequence was fucking dope. I really liked it.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
I'd have to go back and look at it because I know the Zemo smashing the vials and that scene was way later in a different building.
Yeah,
but it is possible that Walker took the serum in that building and maybe he dropped the ampule or something. I don't know, because he didn't seem to be as powered up as some of the other Flag Smashers. So we don't know when he took it. It's just that clear that he took it because the metal pipe was the giveaway. Like he just bent it, like Dana said, like nothing. He tied up the guy's hands. Hey, he threw him through a wall. I'm like, okay, that settled that. You know, he took it. Then he does the superhero landing on the van, smashes the van, chases that guy down, and then he decapitates him right on Twitter. Everybody's on Periscope, like, holy shit, Captain America just killed this dude.
Periscope. Live streaming it, you know.
Yeah, but what was really? Oh, sorry.
No. I mean, this. You covered everything else. I mean, BattleStar Sam really didn't have a chance against those guys. It was just really Walker and Bucky standing up to them. And BattleStar saved them because that one flag smash was going to stab him. Oh, it was Karli who was going to stab Walker. He tackles her, and then first trouble she punched him into the column, broke his neck. And so that defined her really right there. Like what Zemo was saying kind of comes around. He tells Sam, you think she's redeemable, but she has gone full monster sort of. And then then you kind of see the humanity, but it comes back around. Like Richard points out that she kind of threatened his family. Like maybe she wouldn't have acted on it, but that's kind of cold hearted when you're like, well, I'll come after your kids too and all that shit. And then, she killed BattleStar right then and there, and then so Walker's like, well, you took out one of my boys, so fuck this guy, and just cuts his head off in the square.
Yeah, it was so sad, but also I'm trying to pull up the picture, but my computer's acting janky stanky. What I love is the parallel between the Steve Rogers and the John Walker, because remember, they literally, you could have said they shot it shot for shot. Remember in Civil War when Sam was fighting Iron Man or Tony Stark? Remember that big battle that they had with each other? And he had the shield raised over his head. And he could have easily decapitated him. I'm going to pull up the picture soon. But he had the shield basically raised over his head. And, he was able to stop himself. And he knew, not to let that emotion that he had to override everything. So, and then you see John Walker and how his inability to still control his emotion. So I thought that was a really great parallel on how they shot that. If my thing works to pull it up, I can show you. So any thoughts on the parallels between, Steve Rogers? Here we go. Steve Rogers and John Walker. Does he taint the legacy of Steve Rogers by doing this act?
Whoa! Yeah. Hey, that looks very graphic. Very graphic.
Rich, get your mind out of the gutter.
Terrible.
And I think that's why John Walker works as a character, because he is the opposite of Captain America, even though he is ultimately working for the same purpose, right? To protect the innocent, uphold America's values. He is fighting for that, right? He just does it in a really fucked up way. But at the same time,
is it because your emotions override? I mean, the man is dealing with a lot of insecurity.
Yeah, for sure.
You go from being a small fish in a big, a big fish in a small pond of oh, look what I can do during my training, to now you're dealing with forces that require super serum. You're not training against super soldiers during that whole time. He's training against regular people, and he has a superior complex with him that he carries.
Yeah, for sure. I love the contrast, because if Steve Rogers was in the same exact position as him, he wouldn't act like that at all.
Whoa!
He looked full on crazy. You
have that, and then you have, even though Steve Rogers was able to be just as emotional in this scene, Iron Man would have easily killed Bucky.
It was a good parallel, because again, very different type of Captain America. So I don't really think he's tainting the legacy of Steve Rogers. He's tainting the legacy of Captain America. Captain America is bigger than one man. It represents something. He's definitely doing it harm. But at the same time, you could say John Walker represents the current America. America that's just willing to just do what it needs to do, and how it's like scars are affecting it. You know what I'm saying? Because America's dealing with we've been fucked up since the Vietnam War. You know, so basically, John Walker represents America after Vietnam War, and Steve Rogers represents America before the Vietnam War. Very optimistic. You know, so it was really I love. That's why I like the character, what he is, because again, he's trying to do the right thing. He is trying to do the same thing Steve Rogers is trying to do. It's just he's doing it the way modern America would do it, and that's so fucking dope. If you think
about it, those same kind of basic tests that Steve Rogers passed for Erskine to choose him over the other candidates, would John Walker jump on a grenade to save everyone else? Yeah, he would.
Yeah, he would.
Right?
He has.
Yeah, so he would. So he said that he has 3 medals of honor for self-sacrifice and all that stuff. You know, it's like that was one of the main things for Captain America. I mean, he even insults Tony Stark. He's like, "You're not the guy who would lay down on a wire and let the other guy crawl over you," right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, they're just approaching this thing differently. John Walker would lay on a wire so that somebody would crawl over him. Yeah. But how he's approaching things is totally different, right? And then I like Stark's comeback. He's like, no, I would just cut the wire. You know, that was a good comeback on there. But yeah, so like Tony said, it's just it's a different time. He was approaching things very differently. That kind of soldier that Steve Rogers was is gone. And you have to have a more hardcore approach to things. And so Walker's like, whatever I have to do to get the job done. You notice when he goes in the building, he doesn't just go in with the shield. He has a gun drawn, and he puts it over the shield. Kind of like, it looks like Call of Duty. He's just like holding the gun over the shield.
To be fair, though, Steve Rogers did the same thing in the first Captain America movie.
Right, but that was in World War II. Steve Rogers doesn't do that anymore.
No, he doesn't. Right? No, he just uses the shield. So John Walker's like, you know, and that was Call of Duty. That was called the whole division. You know, we got the shield.
Yeah, you got the shield. You got a gun over it.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. You're right.
Did Richard get to you?
Rich, what you got, man?
Yeah, I think that's a very excellent, well put together parallel that I did not notice.
Yeah,
and very good work discovering that, Dana, because as we have discussed on WandaVision, because they had so many theories, so many that's why I said I'm not going to go into this show with any thoughts. If I hear the actor saying, "Man, I work with an actor I couldn't wait to work with my whole career," no, there will be no more of that. But this was a very good parallel. And the last point that I will add is that to go back to what y'all was saying earlier, when Walker took the serum, when he actually took the vial, that happened a little bit earlier in the episode, because I recall he was having conversations with his boy Battlestar. What if you could take the serum? Would you do it? Like the whole episode, they kept implying that he was considering doing it, although we never saw him actually take it. You just saw when they had that next confrontation with the Battle Smashers, where he was just beating everybody down. So yeah, very well done. But I knew he was going to take that at some point.
Yeah, they don't want to show the scene where he shot the thing into his ass. You know, like, all right, let's go.
I mean, it was he wanted that earlier, after he got his ass handed to him by the
Dora Milaje.
Yes.
He was like them black men fucking him up though, bro.
That was also another thing.
Yeah. I mean, that was his realization. It's like, they didn't even have powers. They got my ass beat. So he wanted that. I mean, he knocked out Zemo when he was smashing the vials. He didn't knock out Zemo because he escaped those handcuffs. He knocked him out to prevent him from breaking all the vials.
Yeah. That's right.
Exactly.
And what was also really cute was, remember the line where he was like, "You have no jurisdiction here."
Yeah.
And AO was like, "We're everywhere.
Wakandan, motherfucker."
And then you see like just Bucky in the back laughing at this whole thing, filming it. So so that was also great. And another thing that was just really kind of sad was, imagine being decapitated by the symbol that you always loved.
Oh wow, that's true. Yes.
That's crazy.
Cold-blooded. So yeah, you see a lot of parallels, with the superheroes. And
man, this show's so fucking good. I swear, man. It's it gets me hyped just talking about it. That's why I love being on this show right now.
So another thing, we could talk about what we kind of expect or what we think might happen later on, especially with now we have Homelander 2.0, which you really need to see the boys, Tony.
Yeah, I'll get around to it. I want to see some brutal shit right now,
Yeah, that was brutal. Yeah, you have. Yeah, you really have to see it. Anyway, so we could talk about that, and also there was the phone call to Sharon, where Bucky. Not, I keep mixing up everyone's name. Sorry, Sam called Sharon, which everyone kind of at this point has a theory that she is the power broker. I mean, you do have the part that she's selling the real art. There's a lot of, you saw her at this really expensive table. She's not someone who's like living out of a box trying to really hide. She has resources. She has assets. She's very intelligent. And she has, as we saw from the art, unlimited money. I don't want to say unlimited, but she's up there with probably,
I'm going to say there's a lot of things already pointing to that being the case. In the episode where they go to Marjapur and they meet Selby, right? And Sam's phone rings, and his cover's blown, right? They make him answer the phone publicly. Terrible. Okay, who sniped her through the window, right? And then only 2 minutes later, Sharon Carter saves them in the alley from the other guys, right? And notice they made the graffiti prominent on the wall when they go into the Princess Bar. It says the power broker is watching you, right? What do we see Sharon Carter doing in this episode? She has a satellite, and she can see Walker and all of them where they are at all times. And I was like, all right, they're just throwing it out there that she is the power broker, and also that she set up the incident with the lab in the shipping containers. Like, she finds a guy for them. What she didn't count on was Zemo blowing him away in the container. Like, he finds the gun. That's what she didn't count on. But she set up that whole thing. When he died, she had her boy scuttle the lab, and then she had a car waiting for her right as they left. And then she says specifically, it's like, we have a problem. No, actually, we have two problems. The two problems is Bucky and Falcon. That's the two problems, right? So, I mean, she's throwing hints out there every episode that she's in fact the power broker, and I don't know what her end goal is. Like, to make more Steve Rogers. I don't know what her goal is, but I mean, it's fairly obvious that she has no interest in going back to the United States and getting a pardon or whatever. She is wealthy, doing what she's doing, right? Why would you go back there?
And also, it was really interesting. I'm trying to find out if there's any correlation that we've seen. Remember when Bucky, Sam was doing a terrible job at trying to find out Dano, and he was just saying her name repeatedly. And all of the different rooms, we saw there was a red handprint on the computer, on the wall. I'm trying to find out if there's any kind of significance of where we've seen that marking before, whether it had been in the club.
The Flag Smashers.
That's the Flag Smashers.
That's the Flag Smashers? Like, so it wasn't, we didn't see it anywhere near Sharon.
No, it's the Flag Smashers thing,
Okay. Any other mentions or thoughts, Tony?
Again, great episode. Got me mad hype, and I love the setup for the final 2 episodes. Just 6 episodes altogether, right?
Yes.
Really good stuff. And I'm very curious what's going to happen with John Walker. Like, I hope, I don't know if they're going to do it, but I hope they don't kill him off. Like, keep him around. I want to see him come back, because this is U.S. agent. He is a proper comic book icon himself. You can't just write him off. Shout out to Mark Gruenwald, who created him.
I don't think they're going to kill him off at all. I think that they are setting up a Dark Avengers.
But I would love, that would be dope too. But I want to see a show with him, as one either the main star or one of the stars. Go ahead, Chris.
Right. Well, notice at the end of WandaVision, what do we have? We have a white Vision who just has memories of his past but no emotions, right?
Yeah.
And then he leaves. He pieces out of that whole situation. You don't know where he goes, right? And then after this, you will have now a Dark Captain America.
Yes. Right? Yes. The Dark Avengers. Oh, that's going to be good. Yeah. But either way, I want John Walker to come back. He is really fucking cool. But yeah, this episode, great action, great storytelling. I love the setups. And then I didn't even think about the whole Sharon Carter aspect. Like, that's going to be crazy when that's revealed too. So definitely good stuff. What about you, Rich?
Yeah, I agree. Excellent episode. I think Chris's theory is right on the money, because I was thinking this whole season, everything you've seen about Captain America, the Walker character, you see all of the insecurities he has, And I think at this point in this episode, at the very end, this was the climax of that moment. So now the character was probably going to change and go towards the other side. You know, I still think, as far as what happens, I still think we're going to get a actual fight between him, Bucky and Bucky and Sam. I still think that's happening because, you know, obviously he wants to do things his way. They constantly cross paths with him, and then that has to be resolved. So when that fight happens, that will be solidified. Okay, now he's a bad guy, and he will go off and do his own thing after this is over. But yeah, it's a great show. So much to wonder what's going to happen next regarding Zemo, as well as Miss Carter. So we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. And also, I was wondering, just throwing it out there, you can laugh at me. Do you think that we'll see any Steve Rogers? We all know that he is in his retirement home, probably by now, watching us on TV. Do you think he'll get any kind of cameo?
I don't think so. They could do it, but I don't think that's necessary, to be honest.
See,
let the man retire, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You said one word there that instantly made me think of WandaVision. Cameos. So I'm going to say, I can't answer that question. Let's see what happens in the next 2 episodes, so that I don't want to get too excited to think it could happen and then it doesn't happen.
Right. True. Chris, any thoughts on that?
I don't know if old man Steve Rogers will show up. Like,
was there any version in the comics?
Yeah, there was an old man Captain America. Yeah.
Yeah, I just doubt he'll show up here because there was a whole bunch of the wish casting like that in WandaVision and never panned out.
Yeah.
Everything was Mephisto's fault. Obviously, John Walker's Mephisto and everything's Mephisto.
Wait, are you trying to tell me that Patrick Stewart didn't show up on WandaVision?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Ian McKellen was going to walk out. Oh, my daughter, you know, like Magneto was going to come out of nowhere. So, as you know, what I think is they're more grounded. It's like you have to work with what you have. So if my theory is right and they're trying to set up Dark Avengers, right, you just need analogs for everyone who was there. Mm-hmm. And that may be set up with a little bit more with the Black Widow movie. There's talks that since Thunderbolt Ross is in that movie, he may become the Red Hulk, but I don't know if that will happen. But you need a Hulk analog. You also need an Iron Man analog. In the comics that was done with Norman Osborn and the Iron Avenger, we don't have that.
Yeah.
But what we do have is in one of the Iron Man movies, I think it was the one with Whiplash, was Iron Man 2.
That was 2.
He when they bring him into Congress and they say he has to turn over the Iron Man tech and he tells them to F off, he's not turning it over. He says that everybody is like at least 5 to 10 years away from his technology. Well, we're there now, right?
Yeah,
after Endgame and everything and the snap and everybody coming back, now you're at that point. You had Justin Hammer working on it. Obviously, he's in prison, but there was a bunch of other guys trying to figure out Iron Man technology. So, and then guess what? John Cheadle's getting a show called Armor Wars, which was about curtailing Stark's technology falling into the wrong hands. So I think that show will set up a evil Iron Man. I don't know what that will be. Obviously, he will fight against that, but the birth of Titanium Man or Crimson Dynamo or something will come out of that.
Can I make one comment?
Sure.
I really hope Chris' theory is correct because I just saw that. You know who else is a part of the Dark Avengers? Luke Cage. And as I recall, that actor is still, you know, I thought Marvel said they're still interested in.
Yes, Kevin Feige made it very clear that he is interested in all of the shows except for Iron Fist.
Okay.
Except not that one.
Not that one. He purposely left.
Wait, Luke Cage was in the Dark Avengers?
Well, I'm looking at Wikipedia. I don't know. This is the comic series. I see your boy U.S. Agent John Walker.
Oh yeah, John Walker's there. Because I know Luke Cage was in the new Avengers that Bendis did, right? He was in that, but I didn't know he was in Dark Avengers. But
I thought Dark Avengers was Norman Osborn, Ares, Dakin, Moonstone.
Was Marvel Boy there? I think like one of those guys. I know they had the fake Carol Danvers. Yeah. And that was what's his face? I wasn't Eddie Brock.
No, that was Scorpion.
Yeah, Scorpion.
He had the symbiote. Moonstone was Captain Marvel.
There you go. Yeah, that's what. Dakin was there.
Dakin, yeah.
Who was there was like a Kree guy there too, wasn't there? Or like I just remember the first time she had sex with him.
And Sentry.
Yeah,
Sentry.
Yeah. Ooh. I don't know if they're gonna do all that, but they could set up because remember they set up their own version of the new Avengers in Civil War, or before Civil War. Age of Ultron, they set up the new Avengers. It was Sam, Black, Wanda, some of those other people. So they could set up their own version, but just bring John Walker back. That's all I want. I bring this dude back. Wyatt Russell, right? Yo, I was still fucked up. Like that's Kurt Russell's son.
Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn.
I had no idea, but yeah.
He has the chin from the chin down.
He totally does. No, because I didn't know that was his son, right? But the whole first time I was like, this dude looks mad fucking familiar. Because obviously I grew up with not only Russell but Goldie Hawn. They were like they were the first like, oh shit, they're a couple. I was a little kid. I was like, oh, look at that, it's crazy. And they were also what's the movie they were in together? Anyway, Overboard. I remember watching that.
Movie's my favorite.
Anyway, I'm getting off track, but yeah, shout out to John Walker.
Yes, and also lastly, Avengers. Oh wait, did you speak, Richard?
Yeah.
Okay, and lastly, Avengers is known for redemption. So to me, it kind of seems like Karli is going towards that storyline that's very parallel or similar to Wanda. And remember, she was technically the villain of the show as well. Do you think that we will eventually see her, if she doesn't die, join the Avengers?
I hope not. Get rid of her. Get rid of her. We don't like another super soldier. It's kind of redundant. Get rid of her.
Yeah. No, I have to agree. The minute you threaten my family, the little boys, I can't look at that character again.
Nah. That's what got me, bro. When she said, I'm like, all right, this bitch used to go fuck. Come on, that's Sam's family, bro.
But we see that, Wanda technically kills people in Civil War when that whole building in Sokovia.
Well, that was an accident.
That was an accident, though.
That
she did it on purpose.
Yeah, that's true.
Remember, she's supposed to say, "Oh, this is war. This is how these people act." Wanda was she was distraught.
And it was like a supply thing. Some of her motives is weird because that was like a warehouse. Why not just take all of the supplies?
Yeah, exactly. So no, get rid of her. She needs to go.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh shit, you're right. Yeah, Luke Cage was in Dark Avengers. Anyway, I think we've gone on enough.
Yes.
Good episode.
Great episode. Any final words?
No. Stay tuned. I can't wait. 2 more episodes. Let's go.
Chris, Richard, anyone? Nope.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the end. I think the show should be on longer. Honestly, I think we should have seen more of John Walker in action. He talks about Afghanistan, but I'm a kind of guy where in storytelling you have to show, don't tell. Right. So talking about 3 medals of honor. You remember Afghanistan? But I don't care. This is the scene in Star Wars where Anakin and Obi-Wan are in the elevator. Like, remember we landed in the Bantha nest? I don't care. I didn't see it. This establishes your relationship as a conversation in an elevator. You need to show us so that we understand the gravitas of that situation. BattleStar and him are boys. They've been through shit. They've been on tours of duty. They're obviously like brothers, right? But we don't see it. Right, so the gravity of losing him in that episode is huge. That's why he kills the other dude right in, on Facebook Live. He just decapitates him. So that's why that's important. But we don't get that because they don't show it because there's not enough time.
Yeah, because you're right. Because, like, for example, they did a flashback of Bucky being deprogrammed, right? So you could have had something like that in Afghanistan, some crazy shit's going on. It doesn't even have to be that long, like a minute or two. I agree. I'm just saying, I personally wasn't bothered by it, because I understand they just got to get the story rolling. But I do agree, it would have been better. They got the budget too, gotta chill with that. So I understand why they didn't do that. All these set pieces and shit, they wanted to keep it minimal.
Well, we could get a next scene in next episode where that is the opener.
Yeah, it could be. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
that is true. So, anything you guys want to plug? I know, Tony, you have 8,000 followers.
Yeah, I actually kind of do. So yes, a couple of things I need to plug. So Throwdown, right? Every Thursday and Sunday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Thursday is the show where we talk about all the weekly news of gaming, and then Sunday is the question show. A lot of things happen on Friday, so I'm pretty sure you guys got a lot of questions. Got that. I'll go over to my Twitter at Romudeth, ROMUDETH, and announcing it now, live on air, or actually we're not live, but whatever. Dana, me, and Carlos, and whoever else wants to join us, we're going to be doing an Invincible spoiler cast. All right, so we're going to be covering, we're going to give a little recap of what's going on, then we're going to do every episode until the end, because Invincible is so good. And Dana saw my hype for it, like, Tony, we got to do this. I'm like, let's fucking go, because Invincible is my shit. So yes, that's the big announcement. We will be doing Invincible for you guys, so stay tuned for that.
Yes, very cool. Mr. Seeley?
Oh, I'm just on Throwdown, so watch every Thursday and Sunday.
Mr. Bailey?
Yeah, there are a lot of things coming. I just want to say, stay tuned to the content on the Koalition. There's a lot of stuff coming I can't talk about yet. But yeah, there's some stuff coming. So I just say, stay tuned. We appreciate your continued support. Enjoyed this conversation very much, and many more to come.
Very true. And as always, check out the Koalition at thekoalition.com with a K. We have interviews coming up with the entire slew of Marvel. We are going to be doing, like I said, we have the rest of the cast for Falcon and Winter Soldier. We have Loki. I can announce that. Officially, we have Loki. So we will be doing all of Loki and Kevin Feige and Tom Hiddleston and everyone else who's on the cast for that as well. So stay tuned. Go to the website. Whatever. If you have any questions for any of the celebrities, you could just always send me a message over at the Tweetin' Deets. So, yep, I'm over at Sage Surge on Twitter. So, once again, thank you everyone for joining us. This has been the recap spoiler discussion of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The whole world is watching, which we now know why it's called that.
Yes.
And we'll see you guys again next week. And also, rest in peace to DMX.
Yes.
Yes. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. So have a great day, morning, afternoon, whatever time you're watching this. Thank you. Yes. Fly, Falcon, fly.